So, what would tyranny look like in America? The founding fathers thought deeply about this very question because they feared it. They didn't just fight a monarchy, they fought the idea that power, once centralized, could ever be trusted again. The founding fathers weren't just warriors or politicians, they were architects. And they were trying to design a government meant to withstand corruption, abuse, and collapse. And they left behind a paper trail of warnings about what tyranny would look like if it ever came home. For instance, Thomas Jefferson once warned, "The natural progress of things is for liberty to yield and government to gain ground." He put this in a letter to Edward Carrington on May 27, 1788. He feared that tyranny wouldn't come overnight, it would come slowly, with the best of intentions. And it would be wrapped in the language of safety, stability, security. It wouldn't need a king, only enough fear, and enough people willing to trade liberty for order. James Madison, who's considered the father of the Constitution, said, "The accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, and judiciary, in the same hands may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny." He put this in Federalist number 47. And to prevent it, he designed checks and balances, separate branches, independent powers. But Madison also knew the system was only as strong as the people running it. Enlightened statesmen will not always be at the helm. James Madison said that in Federalist number 10. So, what happens when they're not? Benjamin Franklin was more blunt. He said, "A republic, if you can keep it." This was in response to a question at the close of the Constitutional Convention in 1787. Franklin feared that Americans might sleepwalk into tyranny by failing to stay informed, involved, and awake. When he was asked if the Constitution had created a monarchy or a republic, he responded with that line. Because he knew the greatest threat to liberty wasn't from abroad, it was from within, from apathy, from forgetting what freedom actually costs. And George Washington. In his farewell address, he warned about political factions. He said, "The alternate domination of one faction over another is itself a frightful despotism." This was in his farewell address in 1796. And another founding father, John Adams, added, "Liberty once lost is lost forever." He put this in a letter to Abigail Adams on July 7th, 1775. They both feared partisanship would divide us so deeply that we'd beg for someone, anyone, to take control. The irony, of course, is tyranny wouldn't always need to be seized. Often it would be surrendered. Today we talk about freedom as if it's guaranteed. But the founders knew better. They built this country on rebellion, resistance, and responsibility, not on blind trust. Another quote: "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." That was also Benjamin Franklin at the Pennsylvania Assembly. He said this in reply to the governor on November 11, 1755. If tyranny ever came to America, it wouldn't look like redcoats and muskets. It might look like censorship in the name of decency, surveillance in the name of protection, emergency powers that never go away. The founders did leave us tools, but they also left us a warning. Tyranny doesn't come with a bang. It comes with a shrug, a signature, a silence. The question isn't any longer, could it happen here? It's, would we even notice? If this message resonates with you, please share it. And please remember what Franklin said: a republic, if you can keep it. If you enjoy these videos, like, subscribe. As I said before, share it. And I will see you in the next one.